When she saw the angel, she was frightened at first. He told her to continue to pray for the coming Messiah and that it was God's will that she accept Joachim as her husband. To Joachim, the angel appeared in his sleep and told him to accept Anne as his wife. According to Christian tradition, Saint Anne, also known as Anne or Anna, was the mother of the Virgin Mary. Her name is a Greek rendering of the Hebrew Hannah, meaning grace. All our information concerning the names and lives of Saints Joachim and Anne is derived from apocryphal literature, the Gospel of the Nativity of Mary, the Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew, and the Proto-Evangelium of James. Naturally, there is plenty of room for scholarly debate about these saints. We are presenting here the most common version of this amazing story of God's love for the mankind. Ismaria and Eluid, the parents of Anne, lived in Nazareth. They had inherited from their parents the tradition of discipline and continence in married life. The firstborn of Ismaria and Eluid was a daughter called Sobe, but this child did not live for more than a few months. When Ismaria again became pregnant by God's blessing, she was given a revelation at night. She saw an angel beside her bed writing a letter on the wall. After 3 months, Ismaria gave birth to Saint Anne, who came into the world with that sign upon her body. At the age of 4, Anne went to live in the temple, remaining there for 12 years, returning to her parents at age 16. A year after this, Ismaria fell mortally ill. As she lay dying, she spoke to all her relations and presented Anne to them as the future mistress of the house. Then she spoke once more with Anne alone, telling her that she was a chosen vessel of grace, that she must marry and must seek counsel from the prophet on Mount Horeb. Then she died. Anne was remarkably simple and childlike in her piety. She prayed fervently to God to obtain a good husband. The family of Joachim lived in Nazareth as well. They were very poor. Joachim was just and a holy man who had knowledge of many mysteries and holy scriptures. He was a humble man belonging to the line of King David. One day, while Anne was praying to God for a good husband, Joachim too prayed with the same request. The angel Gabriel was sent to announce this divine decree to both of them. To Anne, he appeared in visible form while she was engaged in fervent prayer. When she saw the angel, she was frightened at first. He told her to continue to pray for the coming Messiah and that it was God's will that she accept Joachim as her husband. To Joachim, the angel appeared in his sleep and told him to accept Anne as his wife.
Friends, our 500th video is almost here. 500 stories of teaching, praying, and protecting young hearts in Christ. But I need to tell you the truth. This mission is at risk. Every episode costs real money, gear, editing, animation, music, and YouTube paid us almost zero in 2025. You can see the screenshot. We've carried it this far by faith and sacrifice, but we cannot keep going alone. Meanwhile, our children are surrounded by voices that pull them away from faith and truth. If ever there was a time to stand up, it's now. Please help us cross this milestone and keep going. You can donate even $2 today. less than your cup of coffee, and this will keep the channel alive tomorrow. Stand with us right now. Become a monthly supporter on Patreon or make a one-time gift through PayPal. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment below. From my heart, don't wait. Your yes today helps keep Christ at the center of a child's life.
Anne was 18 when she married Joachim, and they lived in her father's home for 7 years. Anne's father, Eluid, who was very wealthy, divided his goods with them. Anne gave birth to their first child. They named her Mary Helly. Mary Helly was born prematurely. Anne was inconsolable over this, fearing that it was her fault. In the meantime, the couple withdrew into privacy to begin their married life anew. They moved into a new house of their own. The sick child lived with her grandparents to be taken care of. They lived in a way pleasing to God, hoping to bring down upon His blessings, which they so earnestly desired above everything else. Every year, they would take stock of their wealth and divide this into 3. The best and choicest portion was driven off to the temple. The poor were given the next best one, and the least good they kept for themselves. Each time they divided their herds and goods, and by the Lord's blessing, everything quickly increased again. In spite of their wealth, they lived frugally, observing periods of self-denial and fasting. Soon, their neighbors started speaking ill about them, saying that they must be bad people since no children were born to them. They also said that Mary Helly, living with Anne's parents, was not really Anne's daughter. Otherwise, she would have the child with her. Anne had to endure much from an insolent maidservant who bitterly taunted her for her sterility. Each time they heard these harsh words, the couple became more and more sad. For 19 years after the birth of their first child, they lived thus devoutly before God, in constant yearning for the gift of fruitfulness, and with an increasing distress. One feast day, Joachim went to the temple to offer sacrifice to the Lord. He was harshly rebuffed by the high priest, who rejected his offerings and told him that childless couples were unworthy to present themselves before God. Joachim left the temple in great shame and sorrow. He went to Mount Horeb and did not return home for many days. When Anne heard about her husband's humiliation, her distress was indescribable. She lay weeping with her face on the ground because she had no knowledge of where Joachim was. Joachim remained hidden on Mount Horeb for as long as 5 months. During this time, Anne was increasingly ridiculed by her maidservant, who kept reproaching her for her misfortunes. Anne prayed fervently to God not to separate her from Joachim. And lo, there appeared to her an angel of God. He seemed to step down before her from the top of the tree and spoke to her. He asked her to be of good heart, for the Lord had heard her prayer. She was to journey the next day to the temple with 2 maidservants, taking with her doves as a sacrifice. The angel also told her that she would meet Joachim under the golden gate. Anna, full of joy, thanked God for His mercies. The angel then appeared to Joachim, who was praying at the time. He commanded Joachim to go to the temple the next day. Joachim was troubled and felt reluctant about going back there, but the angel assured him that the priest had been enlightened. Joachim arrived at the temple with a large herd of cattle the next day. He was surprised to see two high priests running towards him. They welcomed him into the temple, and his offerings were accepted. He was so happy, and he prayed in ecstasy all night. The angel appeared to him again and said, "Anne will conceive an immaculate child, from whom the Redeemer of the world will be born." The angel told him not to grieve over his sterility, as it was part of God's plan, and that what his wife was to conceive was to be the immaculate fruit of God's blessing upon him. Then the angel removed the treasure from the Ark of the Covenant and inserted it into Joachim's garment, and it entered his body. The angel then disappeared, upon which Joachim sank to the ground in an ecstasy as though paralyzed. The priests who re-entered the holy place found him radiant with joy. They lifted him up reverently and placed him outside in a seat generally used only by priests. When he had recovered, he was beaming with joy. Joachim later met Anne under the Golden Gate, as told by the angel. The couple returned home, and they spent most of their time praying together. The Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary was accomplished, and Anne was pregnant. Joachim took great care of Anne, and he was always present to attend to her needs. Throughout the 9 months that followed, many prophets spoke of the approaching birth of the Virgin. There were many signs and symbols concerning it. On the eve of Mary's birth, all nature rejoiced. Men and beasts were stirred to joy. The people saw a special light around the house of Joachim and Anne, and they gathered around the house to witness the miracle. That night, Anne gave birth to Mary. The women gathered there, sang songs of praise, and cried in happiness. Joachim was very happy, and he cried tears of joy when he saw the child. The days that followed were filled with much rejoicing, and people flocked in great numbers to see the child Mary. It is believed that Saint Joachim died soon after the presentation of Jesus in the temple, and Saint Anne is believed to have lived until Jesus was 8 years old. Saints Joachim and Anne are the patron saints of grandparents. Saint Anne is the patron saint of mothers and women in labor. Saint Joachim was named patron of fathers, grandfathers, and married couples.